In news out of the USVI criminal courts, we learned that a man has been charged with first-degree murder in the slaying of Deshawn Huggins, while two women in separate incidents face charges of assault and battery. We begin on St. Croix, where 28-year-old Jareem Lake appeared before the VI Superior Court on Wednesday, charged with first-degree murder, first-degree assault, unlawful possession of a firearm, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and discharging or aiming a firearm. Lake was arrested on October 7th for a September 30th homicide. On that day, police responded to reports of shots fired in Paradise Mills, and when officers from the Wilbur H. Francis Command arrived on scene, they were directed to a gunshot victim lying in the grass. The man, later identified as 31-year-old Deshawn Huggins, succumbed to his injuries. Investigations soon identified Lake as the possible shooter, and his wanted poster was posted on VIPD's social media on October 7th. Later that day, the suspect was apprehended and taken into custody. In court on Wednesday, Lake's initial $1 million bail amount was reduced by half, but he will still need to provide a fully secured $500,000 bond to effect his release. If he is able to post bond, Lake will then be released into the custody of a third-party custodian who has been approved by the court. While on release, Lake will be subject to 24 hours house arrest with the use of an electronic monitor. He must report to the probation office every Tuesday, will not be permitted to leave St. Croix without the court's written authorization, and must surrender his passport. Lake is banned from the Paradise Mills area and must have no contact with any witness in the matter. An arraignment hearing is set for October 26th. Still on St. Croix, a woman has been slapped with domestic violence charges in connection with an altercation on October 6th. Yanli Joaquin Sosa was arrested on charges of simple assault and battery as an act of domestic violence and disturbance of the peace. On October 6th, Sosa's husband called police to report a disturbance. Responding officers met the complainant, who said that he'd returned home that day about 10 p.m. after having a few beers. His wife got to the residence about 45 minutes after that, he says, and upon her arrival, she began cursing at her spouse and inquiring about his whereabouts before escalating to physical violence, slapping him in the face and biting his arm. The man said he moved to the bedroom to avoid her onslaught, but Sosa reportedly followed, continuing her verbal assault. Her husband said at some point he doused the woman with a bottle of water, which led her to charge at him again, reportedly biting him on the stomach and along his left side, causing visible injuries. The man said he managed to extricate himself and call police, but during the call, Sosa reportedly confiscated the phone and left the house with it in her possession. During their visit, police observed the injured man's bruises. Sosa does not speak English and had to have her statement translated. She told police that she initially came home that day around 9:30 p.m. and finding that her husband had not yet arrived, left the house and returned about an hour later to find him at the residence. He was watching the television with the lights off, she said, and was upset when she turned them on. While questioning him about whether the lights bothered him, Sosa said her husband attempted to topple the television, which she intercepted. The woman claimed to have followed him into the bedroom to retrieve her purse when he threw water on her. She said she retaliated by flinging a cup of water back at him and that he escalated the situation by punching her before pushing her into the wall, where she reportedly hit the right side of her head. She explained the bite marks on her husband's right arm as evidence of her defending herself from him holding her by the neck and squeezing. According to Sosa, her husband then began holding her body down. She continued to bite him to get away before taking his phone and leaving. Sosa told police that she had a bump to her head, but officers said they did not observe any visible injuries to Sosa's throat, neck, or her sides. There was a small red mark on the middle of her back, however, and she complained of pain to her head and body and requested medical attention. However, she told police that her friend would transport her to the hospital. Sosa was arrested on October 8th and appeared in court on Monday, where a judge ruled that she would be permitted to post $101 in cash with the remainder of the $1,000 bail requirement posted as an unsecured bond. She is to have no unlawful contact with her husband in this matter. Moving now to St. Thomas, 28-year-old Lisa Greenaway was arrested on charges of simple assault and battery as an act of domestic violence after her father called police about a disturbance at his residence. On October 10th, responding officers met the man who said that he and his other daughter were questioning Greenaway about her whereabouts the previous evening. Greenaway, who reportedly had recently given birth, had apparently not told anybody about where she was going. Greenaway's sister, her court-appointed third-party custodian from a previous arrest, then asked her sibling to hand over her phone. After complying with the request, Greenaway reportedly slapped her sister in the face. The man said he quickly put himself between his two children and tried to stop Greenaway from slapping her sister again, but that only served to redirect her anger towards him. He said his daughter hit him in the face multiple times and then began to use her feet, kicking him about the body. Greenaway also reportedly bit her father on his left pinky finger hard enough to draw blood. Her fit of rage over, Greenaway soon calmed down, and then police were called. An interview with Greenaway's sister served to corroborate her father's description of events. Police noted an abrasion to the man's nose and one to his left pinky finger and arrested and charged his daughter. In court on Tuesday, a judge ordered that Greenaway report to the Division of Mental Health and Substance Abuse upon her release. She was given bail as an unsecured bond of $1,000 and will be released into the care of a suitable third-party custodian. She is barred from leaving St. Thomas and St. John without the court's written authorization and must report to the probation office once a week. Greenaway is to have no unlawful contact with the victims in this matter and is prohibited from consuming alcohol or any controlled substance, as well as from obtaining a firearm, ammunition, or any dangerous weapon. Her arraignment is set for October 28th.